Hello, everyone. This is Sam P. Lark Jr., and we are getting ready to talk about how I was able to get hired twice using social media. Shout out to Ann. I appreciate her giving me this space in the group to share my story. And the funny thing is, I love this quote I learned some years ago. Blessed are the flexible, for they shall not be bent out of shape. I say that because my computer is acting up, so I'm doing this from my cell phone. So I apologize if it's a little shaky. So once again, my name is Sam P. Lark Jr., and I'm super excited to just share my story. Now, I know this group has people who are actual business owners, also professionals who may actually be individual contributors at a company, or you may be a manager. What I'm about to say is beneficial across each, career level. So I think there's going to be something for everyone here. So what I'm known for is being hired twice using social media. And my platform that I speak from is using social media to create career security. And we're going to talk about what's the difference between career security and job security. So to start off, I was taught growing up, how you're supposed to be successful. You go to school, you get good grades, go to college, you graduate, and then you get your degree. You look for a job with those benefits, then you work it for as long as you can and live happily ever after. Well, I did that to a certain extent. I went to Temple University. I'm originally from Philadelphia, and I received my degree in chemistry. I worked in polymer chemistry in the corporate world for about 4 years, and then I moved. I went to Florida to chase my heart at that time girlfriend, my current wife now. So when I got to Florida, I thought, okay, I did what I was told. I have my degree. I have some years under my belt. I should be marketable. I should be able to get another job. Well, unfortunately, the economy in Florida was not so forgiving. We struggled for a good 3 years. I ended up working 2 jobs. Either I had too much education or I didn't have a PhD, and it just wasn't fitting for my career trajectory to go back to school and actually acquire debt. That just wasn't for me. So I ended up working 2 jobs. I had a part-time environmental science job, filtering water samples, and then I had a full-time second shift manual labor job doing manual labor in the Florida heat, making minimum wage. And at the time, we only had 1 car. So I rode my bike back and forth to both jobs 18 miles a day. I had to do what I had to do. But then one day, my wife and I, we realized if nothing changes, nothing changes. So we went back up north to New Jersey for a career opportunity. And this is around 2015, January, and I did what the traditional job seeker does. I learned different, techniques. I went to a job fair, and I'm a military spouse. So I went to this job fair for veterans as well as their spouses. I came across a gentleman from Orkin Pest Control of all places, a regional director. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I have a degree in chemistry. This is really not up my alley. However, I did not discredit the opportunity. So I built good rapport, we exchanged information, and we stayed connected. At that time, also, I began to learn the benefit of LinkedIn. And at that time, I just realized, hey, this is a job search tool. That's what I thought back then. We're going to come back to that. So I began to learn how to use the platform. I began to publish articles, showcase who I was, express my ideas. Now, that was back in January 2015 when I met that individual at that job fair. I ended up getting a telemarketing gig. I was that person that was going to call you on a Sunday morning asking if you wanted to donate to a charity. Once again, not really utilizing the full benefits of my chemistry degree, but I had to make whatever I had to do happen so that I could make ends meet. Well, April the 2nd, 2015, I decided, hey, I'm using LinkedIn. Let's utilize, these lemons, so to speak, and make some lemonade. So I wrote an article about how you should look at your telemarketing experience. It was great because you face rejection. You have to deal with that. You have to negotiate. You have to be persistent. April the 2nd, 2015 is when I published that article on LinkedIn. No more than 12 hours later, that same gentleman I met several months prior at that career fair from Orkin Pest Control sent me a private message on LinkedIn saying, hey, a role became available. Would you like to come in and interview for it? So I thought, I don't really see a long-term career in telemarketing. Why not? So I went in and I got the role. Thankfully, that was the first time I ever used social media to get hired. About a year later, my wife, she, got an opportunity to come to Austin, Texas, where we currently are for a career advancement. So once again, we picked up and we moved, and I'm here in Austin with no job. But at this point, I'm a little more social media savvy. I began to look online and to network, and I found a place or an article about the best places to work in Austin. So I said, okay, let me check out this company called Main Street Hub. I did what the traditional job seeker would do. I applied for a role for which I felt I was a good fit. It was a customer success manager, customer service, building relationships, be a people person, which I believe I am. But I didn't stop there. So at that time, and this is back in 2016, so say about January 2016, LinkedIn still gave you the opportunity to use the advanced search tool. Right now, it's not available. At least I know it's not available for the free accounts, which I do have a free account. And I'm definitely going to make time for questions if you have any questions about any of this. So feel free to chat those in and I'll check them in about 15 minutes. So going back, LinkedIn had the advanced search tool where you could look within a company at everyone that had a specific title. So for the role I applied for, I looked for everyone that had that same title. Then I reached out to them on LinkedIn to build a connection. And I didn't reach out in a way with saying, hey, I applied for this role. Can I get a hookup? No. I have a saying that in today's job search, if you're only applying for roles, you're a step behind. Today's job search, you have to apply for relationships. And we're going to get on that in another minute as well. So everyone that's on LinkedIn is not necessarily active. So I didn't get a whole lot of response, but I did not stop. I looked at the managers and the executives, as well as the co-CEOs of the company. So I reached out to all of these people, sent out LinkedIn connection requests, personalized. Some people on their LinkedIn profile, they actually have a Twitter handle. So I said, hey, I want to stand out. Because if you think about it, how many messages are recruiters getting day after day of people trying to get something from them? It's almost numbing. They look at their inbox and it's like, I don't even want to look at this. And then really quick, interjecting, business owners. How many times when you're trying to build relationships and trying to get your name out there of what you do, how many times are, people seeing all these messages whom you want to talk to? So you want to make sure that your messages don't just get pushed to the side. You want to stand out. So on Twitter, I was able to see everyone whom had an active account. I sent them a tweet and I said, hey, I sent you a LinkedIn connection request. I look forward to connecting. And I had a digital business card that I attached there that gave them a little more insight into who I was, as well as the other social media channels that were clickable on that card. So that caused me to stand out. Again, it's all about relationships. So I made a Twitter list. Everyone that I could find within Main Street Hub that had an active Twitter account, I put them in this list, along with the company account, Main Street Hub. I looked at that as business intelligence. Every day I could see what are they tweeting about. I get to learn about the people. I get to learn about the company culture, the projects that they're working on. I began to interact. Again, not saying, hey, I applied like 2 weeks ago. Any update? No. But I gave feedback. I built relationships. Funny story. My soon-to-be manager, he and I had ongoing Twitter conversations about his family and his love for college football. You don't think about these things when you're in a job search or even as a business owner. So over time, the recruiter reached out and said, hey, I saw your resume. Well, of course, I wanted to make sure that I was top of mind. I stayed relevant. So when they brought me in for the interview and they found out what I did on Twitter, they actually wrote an article about me and featured it on the company blog as their first ever hire from Twitter. So today, what I do I teach people how to use social media to create career security. And I coined it career security because looking at the opposite, job security, it's almost as if we look at that as an oxymoron. Job security depends on so many external factors outside of your control. Here's the top three in my mind. Location, the general economy, and then also the company's revenue. We hear of companies folding at any minute and actually laying people off. You know, people have been there for years, decades. So these things are outside of your control. However, career security, that's all up to you. And we're talking about using social media. So the first aspect of that, how well do you use social media to show people who you are, your personal brand, as an employee, as a business owner? In order to actually get someone to pay you for the services you provide, they need to buy into who you are, your personal brand. So social media is a tool that you can use to showcase your talent, your value, your values, what drives you, your why, right? The second part is how well do you develop relationships? So I said earlier, you're not applying for roles, you're applying for relationships. Now, I know many of you more than likely have heard when it comes to getting a job or getting opportunities in business, it's not what you know, but it's who you know. I've heard this. In addition to that, I've heard it's not what you know, it's not who you know, but it's who knows you. Think about it. Say, take Ann, for instance, right? The person who has brought all of us together. I could say, hey, Ann, I know you know the CEO of Merck, and I would love to work in their laboratory. I know you play golf, every Sunday with the woman, just hypothetical. Can you put in a good word for me? And being the awesome woman that she is, she'll say, sure, give me your resume. Now, when Ann is about to talk to the CEO and talks me up, the CEO may say, okay, cool. Tell me a little bit more about Sam's personality. Well, if Ann can't speak to who I am, the value I can bring, how well I'm going to complement the company culture, no matter how well Ann and this CEO know each other, that recommendation won't hold but so much weight. On the flip side, say Ann and I have spent good amount of quality time together. Ann can really talk to who I am as a person, my charisma, my public speaking, how well I work with others. Now, when Ann talks to that CEO and recommends me, that recommendation holds a lot more weight. Same thing when you're a business owner. You want to have that word of mouth, friend to friend recommendations, because those hold a lot of weight. People rely on other people when it comes to making buying decisions. Look at the review sites, Yelp, Google. We always look at reviews more than likely before we're going to spend our money. We want to know that someone else has had a good experience. Well, back to your own personal brand, when you are able to use social media to build relationships to the point when other people know you well enough to speak to your character, your value, who you are as a person, they will actually recommend you when they see opportunities arise. And that's what we want. Job seekers, you don't want to be a job seeker. You want to be sought after. You want opportunities to come chase you down. Business owners, you don't want to have to always advertise the product or the service. You want people to come to you looking for what you have to offer. And social media can give you that. Now, this time, there's also a free service that I was going to offer. I was blessed to be able to be in a very awesome program. It's on LinkedIn. 3 gentlemen, and I'll shout them out really quick. Ellie Hochberg, Ben Ree, and Josh Jerkovich. They created this free course on LinkedIn that teaches you how to craft posts in a way that will get you major exposure, as well as building a community, not just connections. Because again, we talked about relationships. So I'm actually going to type that in here so that you can refer to that. It's absolutely free. It's called 30 Days of Social, where every day for 30 days, you get an email on some type of theme to post about. And this is a way of you showing who you are, showing your character, your personality. And then within that time, you'll get to interact with different people. I can say from my participation in the program, my best all-time best performing post, has well over 225,000 views, over 1,200 likes, and getting close to 200 comments. The benefit there is giving me access to people whom I would have never met had it not been for either that course or even social media, access to knowledge, and then third, access to opportunity. That's why I'm talking to you right now. It's because of my interactions on social media as to why Ann and I got connected, and she offered me the opportunity to share this message with you. So again, I go back to the beginning. Whether you're a job seeker, you're a college student, you're a business owner, this is relevant to you because all of us are business owners at the end of the day. We all have a product or a service that we're looking to be well compensated for. In order to get that, it's important to, number one, showcase who you are. Tell people, what's your personal brand? Who are you? What value do you bring? And then two, make those connections to the point where people know you well enough to actually give you the opportunities for which you're looking and give a recommendation for you that holds weight. So at this time, that's what I wanted to give you. I'm actually about to type in the URL to that free course, and I'll just open it up for your questions at this time. All right, so I'm gonna look down. I'm on my cell phone. Again, blessed with the flexible, for they should not be bent out of shape. So after I type this in, I'll definitely be right back for questions. All right. So again, I do appreciate this time. Shout out to Ann. She is a phenomenal woman whom I appreciate having this opportunity. I'll wait just a few more minutes for any questions that you may have. The benefit here is we understand people are busy. So time is the most major commodity that we all have. Everybody has the same amount and so many people want some from us. So if a person wasn't able to make this Facebook Live, good thing is it'll be recorded and stored in the group account. All right. So at this time, I appreciate this opportunity. And until the next time, you all have a great rest of your day on purpose. Take care.